Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Kat Day with SPM Magazine and Wolf Den Media Productions. And I'm here with April Larson. April, tell us what got you into playing billiards?
Well, my father played on his side of the family pool league, where they were a team in the league. And my sister and I didn't really get along when I was little. So, as what he was hoping would be punishment at the time, like I would have, like he was separating us. So I went to league with him and she stayed home with mom to just end end the fighting and everything. And I really enjoyed seeing my side of the family. So it really wasn't like it was the best thing that could have happened for me. And it took about 2 years until I was like 9 years old to actually pick up a cue and start playing, because school started getting like easier for me to understand. So I'd have all my homework done by that time and wouldn't really have anything to do at league. So I would start hitting balls and have tried every other sport at this point in time in my life. And I had sucked at every single one of them. So this one I actually didn't suck at. So I figured I'd give it a solid go, at least for the remainder of my school, and see where I could go.
Uh-huh. So you just hung out with dad and went from pool hall to pool hall?
Yep, with my dad and my dad's side of the family. They're super close.
Did he play in a lot of leagues?
Yeah, so there's a main league out of Minnesota who's actually my sponsor now, and he's a great family friend first and foremost. So Scott Barrett runs IBA pool leagues, which used to be M8 pool leagues. That's what it's most well known for in Minnesota. And he, yeah, that's the league I grew up in. He owned it. It's like home to me. That's the league. That's the only league I've really ever played in. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, how many years have you been playing professionally?
I've been playing professionally since I want to say I was like 15 or 16 when I played my first Soaring Eagles WPBA event. So once I got on that and I got third that first tournament, I kind of was like, oh, okay, I guess this is gonna be a thing.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah.
So you started hanging out when you were 9 with your dad.
Yep.
Kicking around and finally picked up the pool stick. Then about 15, 16, you started getting into the leagues and playing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, where are you at today?
Well, now my biggest dream that I never ever thought would be possible came true, and I'm going to be involved in the Moscone Cup this year. Oh, yeah, I'm just speechless when it comes to that, because I grew up knowing that women aren't involved really, unless you earn your spot, in the men's rankings, but it wasn't really a possibility, you know what I mean? Unless you were God on the table for a female. And so I mean, it was a goal in the back of my mind, maybe someday to just like prove everybody wrong, but it just realistically, wasn't there. And then when Emily Frazier was like getting women involved, and I went to World Pool Championships earlier in June, I think it was June, and then went to the US Open, I was like, maybe no. And then she's like, yeah, we're actually involving women and you have like a good chance. And I was like, is this, you're joking, like you're playing with my emotions here? And she's like, no, like seriously, if you keep playing how you're playing, like you're gonna be in the running. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it my all then, because I don't know if it'll ever happen again. So it was kind of a now or never moment, and here we are.
Did you just find this out
recently? Yeah, I think it was like 2 weekends ago, like on the Saturday.
Oh
So
man, that's impressive.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and Jennifer Beretta is going to be my female partner, and on the European team, it's Christina Tkach and Kelly Fisher. So it's gonna be tough competition.
Who's your teammate?
Jennifer Beretta.
Loretta. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. That's, man, congratulations.
Thank you.
What billiards player do you look up to, if any?
I would say for women specifically, I look up to Allison Fisher. She kind of took me in when I was, that 15, 16 range, and she really just took me in as like almost her kid. I felt like she was like my pool mom.
Right.
And we formed a really special friendship and bond, and she was amazing pool player to begin with, but then to really realize who she was as a person too, and how like selfless she was by showing me X, Y, and Z and helping me grow. She's just, yeah, she's an incredible person. For men, I would probably say I look up to Alex Pagulayan. He's really like, he was my partner in South Carolina and we got third. And I have never felt like I've never had that much fun playing doubles in my life because I felt no pressure. He put zero pressure on me. He's there to have fun.
Right.
And he just like brought the fun back to the game that I felt like I was maybe missing a little bit. So
Right. It wasn't all seriousness.
yeah. And he's a phenomenal player as well. Like he's incredible. So
Okay, that's cool. What kind of training do you undergo before a big tournament, if any?
So before a big tournament, now that I'm at Sticks and Stones in Texas with Chris, I'm going to try to play with him a lot before my matches with women because he's Moscone Cup team player. There's really nobody better to train with.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that I can train with him a little bit before tournaments. And if not that, I mean, what I've typically done is I try to get my break down as best as possible. And I know your break changes from table to table, but get the basic gist of it down, make sure I'm feeling consistent with that, because that's super important in pool, is to have a good break. And sometimes it fails me. I mean, we've seen it many times where it fails, but for the most part, it helps me out to have like a sturdy, solid foundation of a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and that's Chris Reinhold?
Yeah, Chris Reinhold. Yep.
All right, he also does photography for you, correct?
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yep.
That is awesome. How do you deal with the stress of playing a high-level opponent?
Well, that's a good question, because I think that's what I struggled with like most when I was coming up in the professional field, is all these people I looked up to. So honestly, this is gonna sound crazy, but the less you care, like the less you show you care, the less you put on the match as far as importance, the better I play.
Right.
So if you're out there just having fun and freewheeling it, I'm gonna play better. It's how it is. So a lot of people sometimes are like, you literally don't look nervous at all. And at this point I tell them, I'm like, sometimes I'm dying inside because it's just, you can't really push that pressure aside. But for the most part, I'm getting better at just being like, no, I'm not nervous, because you win or you lose. You have two options. So, and we're all at the same level. So at this point, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. So play the best you can, and the outcome is the outcome. Rolls either go your way or they don't.
Right, and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, definitely got to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm. What was it like to play against Jeanette Lee?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I mean, who hasn't looked up to her, growing up? She did a lot to help me out too. I mean, she had that Black Widow camp for the Atlantic Challenge Cup as many years as she could. If not all the years, I'm fairly certain she was involved for most of the years, if not all of them. And yeah, it was a cool moment. It was like, she kind of trained me and helped me grow, and now I'm playing her in matches, and I see her like she watched a match of mine in South Carolina, and it meant the world to me. Like she stayed up till like 2:33
Wow.
in the midst of everything she has going on in her life,
Right.
and literally just to watch and support us. And she came up and gave us both a hug, and she walked out, and like, you know, she said like, great shooting, you know, X, Y, and Z, and she walked out. And I was like, that meant more to me than a lot of people think, because I grew up looking up to her, and then she sat there and watched a whole like 2-hour match of mine against Christina Tkach, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is a compliment in itself, for real.
Exactly, yeah.
Um, okay, you're the grinder.
Yes.
Why do you grind?
Why do I grind? Well, the name came from Johnny Archer, when he was my coach for the first Atlantic Challenge Cup.
Uh-huh.
I cannot explain it to you. I can't explain it to anybody. Unfortunately, I like to get down in a match. I cannot tell you why. It just happens. I get down like sometimes 5-0, sometimes 6-1, you know, just stupid numbers that don't need to happen. And then all of a sudden I like find my gear and I kick it in, and it might be because that's the point where I'm like, just relax. Like, why are you so stressed? That's when I'm always so super intense in the first half of the match. And then when I find out you have nothing to lose at this point, just freewheel it. That's when I start to freewheel it. So a lot of people think it's a grind. I'm like, no, it's like letting go. Like you just let go of any emotion attached to the match and you just shoot pool. So sometimes it gets exhausting because like there was one tournament in Fairfield, Iowa, where it happened like 3 matches in a row where I was down super far and I came back and won. And I was like, I'm tired. I'm like, I'm really tired. That was a lot of mental strength. I'm tired. It was like back to back in the same day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was quite the ordeal for sure.
Well, how did you get there? Why did they start calling you the grinder?
Well, it's kind of uncommon, I guess you could say, for somebody to be down that far, like 8-0 race to 9, or 7-1 race to 9 again.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people at that point kind of tap out. They're like, I'm done. I mean, there's no hope. And for me, I've seen some crazy stuff happen, like crazy. Like they kind of let off the gas for a moment.
Uh-huh.
And if you can take advantage of that small moment, it becomes a big moment in 2 or 3 games even. Like if you're down 8-0 and now all of a sudden it's 8-3.
Right.
That says something. That's like, hey, I should probably finish this off. Now the pressure isn't not on them anymore. It is on them now, because you either got to get this one game or I'm going to come back and it's going to look awful to be had me down 8-0, and then me come back. Because I know if I'm up 8-0, I don't want nobody coming back and winning 9-8 on me, because that would just, it's a lot about like how it's gonna look, so that's where the pressure comes in. And yeah, I think that's where I get some people a little bit jaded, is like when they have me down and they think I'm out, which I totally, I mean, sometimes I'm even like, she's not missing, I don't know what to do here. But that small lapse of like pure focus and concentration lets me in, and I take advantage and I grind back. So
And persistence.
yeah, right. So
some say fear is a mind killer. How do you approach fear when you play a game?
You can't be scared. You just can't. Like I'm not a scared person. I used to be. I used to when I was like, there was a point in time where I would rather do anything in the world than honestly play Allison Fisher, Jeanette Lee. Everybody wants to play them. I'm like, I don't want to play them. Are you kidding? I'm like, I'm nervous. I know, like, let me face them later in the tournament. But then I got to the point where it's like, you're going to have to face them. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to if you want to be the best. So once I came to that realization, I was like, you cannot fear who you're playing. Like, you just cannot. You got to just go in. Just, they're any other person. They're literally any other person. Maybe you don't get as many chances as you would with somebody else, but if you're running out tables, it shouldn't matter, you know, or you're playing the lockup safe. Yeah, they might get a hit and safe you back, but just be prepared for that, you know, like don't ever think it's gonna get handed to you, because I feel like sometimes I thought that in a match where if I was playing somebody who in my mind I thought, hey, this is pretty, like this should be a decent match, right? Like anything can happen. And at that point in time, I didn't realize how much anything could happen. And even in that aspect, like, you know, they can, I let my guard down so they could come and beat me. So in that same aspect for a pro, they could let their guard down, you know, and you just got to take advantage of any opportunity you get.
That's like a two-way street.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Who are some of your sponsors?
Oh, I got a ton of them. So my main sponsor is Peach Hour Custom Cues. They've been with me the longest. I am their number one fan, I guess you could say. They're like family to me. They've done everything that I could ever ask for. So super grateful for them. I also have Jam Up Clothing Apparel. They make my awesome shirts. I have 5 of them, and everybody compliments them always because they have a cool fade. I have like a cool pink fade, and a cool black blue fade. They're dope shirts, and I'm super happy to have them on my side. As well as that, I have Sticks and Stones, which is a new one. They've done a lot for me already. You know, they are a huge pool hall in Lewisville, Texas. That's why I moved down to Lewisville to be with Chris Reinhold and play with him and represent their pool hall. So then I have TNT Billiards, which is a pool hall out of Minnesota. They've kind of been there the same way Peach Hour has. You know, they're smaller pool hall, but they're growing, and I felt like there was no better way for them to grow than for me to like push their name when anybody comes to Minnesota to try their pool hall out, shoot some balls there, try to support them, especially during the pandemic. And then I have 2 new ones, Dungeon, Dunsky Dungeon. That's where I'm at right now in Orlando. Dominic Dunn is the one who's kind of behind all of that. He's hosting me here. And Clinkers as well is a new one. She's I'm part of like the stable is what they call it. So I'm gonna be like one of her players, and she supports me a lot. It's crazy. And then I have Kamui, who's my tip and chalk sponsor. And trying to see, I mean, Castillo is the case I use, and he made that for free, and we got stuff in the works right now. And just some like other mentions is like On the Wire made a really nice website. I was drawing a blank. And then of course, and I mentioned this earlier, but IBA pool leagues. I feel like that's why I didn't add it in, is because I mentioned it earlier, but they're one of my big sponsors as well. I'm trying to think of if I don't think I missed anybody, but yeah, I got a whole bunch of them right now.
Right. Does anybody ever try to get you just to stay with one brand or one you know how some brands will get somebody, well, you're gonna represent us, we'll blah 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 for you or whatever.
Mhm.
You seem to be just a free floater or
Yeah, so as far as me, I look down avenues. You know, a lot of people say it's not good to have a ton of sponsors because then they're not like individualized on your shirt and they don't pop as much. But in my opinion, if I have many avenues, of sponsorships. That makes my life a lot easier, as far as even if it's just product or whatever they may do for me, it just makes my life easier because anything I need is taken care of, if that makes sense. And I can help represent them. So I feel like it just makes both of our lives easier in any partnership I make. I'm trying to learn. I mean, I was really little when I had all these sponsors on my shirt, you know, and I've had them on my shirt for over 5 years,
Right.
half these sponsors. So a lot of people think I look like a NASCAR driver, but I'm like, yeah, but you guys know who my sponsors are. You know what I mean? Because I wear the same sponsors 24/7 and they don't change, you know? So I really like that that aspect where people know who I represent.
Right. It's almost like a painting. You've got a little bit of style of every
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
sponsor on you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What what is your favorite pool stick or pool cue?
My favorite pool cue,
Yeah.
definitely the Peach Hour custom I have right now. I've used it for 6 years. They keep telling me I need to trade it in to get a new one, and I'm like, nope. I'm like, I am super happy with this cue. I customed it to have a ton of pearl and abalone, or like abalone. I'm not sure how you say it, but yeah, I customed it exactly to how I wanted it, you know? So it's like, how could I get better than literally the cue I dreamed for so long? And it's crazy that you can kind of get attached to something so much that you don't want to change it, you know? Like who would say no, I'm good. Like I don't want to make this a different extravagant cue, like this cue's enough. You know, it's like it's perfect. It can't get better. So
Right. That's the one you're gonna take with you to the Moscone Cup too, right?
yes, ma'am. Yep.
Stick. Um, what is your favorite game to play? 8-ball, 9-ball, straight?
Currently, my so out of pure enjoyment, I really am starting to get into straight pool. I really like it. It's just fun. It's different. I don't necessarily like it when I'm playing against somebody because you kind of have to safety play, and that gets into like the one pocket mentality. Not a fan of that. I'm not patient enough. But if I'm playing straight pool by myself, trying to get like a high run or something, that's super fun for me because all you're doing is shooting balls in the hole, which is my favorite part of the game. I don't know about anybody else, but when I see balls going holes, like it just makes me happy. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably my favorite right now. Otherwise, rotation games like 9-ball or 10-ball are clearly what I play the most. So
All right. Do you work at all, a regular job, or do you just play straight pool?
I did until I moved to Texas. Once I moved to Texas, now I work for Sticks and Stones, and it's kind of my outlook on it is I'm there every day practicing, trying to bring in, you know, people to come check it out because it is a really nice, clean, like that is huge for me. Is Sticks and Stones is super clean, super clean. Pool halls are typically kind of like a bar, you know, it's a bar. And granted, Sticks and Stones is a bar, but they literally take it so seriously to have it spotless. I mean, I've never walked in there and seen like anything like messy. I don't know how to explain it. Like the bar is always wiped. Like it's always dry. It's like perfect. And there's never any mess anywhere. It's just, it's weird that I took such a, like I'm taking that so seriously, but it is so refreshing to come in and have like a clean table every single time. It's super nice.
Compared to some of the other pool halls around, they must be exceptional.
Yeah, I haven't been anywhere else in Texas, but I do know that compared to some of the pool halls I've been to in my life, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing for you.
Yeah.
What are your goals for the next 5 years?
Well, I would like to win a WPBA event. I think that would be huge under my belt.
Uh-huh.
And let's see. It's a good question. I want to make it onto the World Games Team USA at some point in time, whether that be 2022 or 2026, 5 or 6. I don't know how they're going to do it since it got pushed back due to COVID. Yeah, I would really love to make that team. That's been up there with, winning a world championship is just making that team. You know what I mean? Obviously I would love to win the World Games, but
Yeah.
for right now, just making the team would be huge. Once I make the team, then obviously my goal is to win the World Games. So,
Right. And place in the Moscone or win.
oh, absolutely. 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 That's
That one.
absolutely.
Do you see yourself having kids in the future?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I am not. I'm very much a family person,
Right.
but very much so not a mom. Like I just don't have that. I tell people all the time, they're like, April, you're young, you're gonna change your mind. I'm like, listen,
Uh,
no. I said, doesn't that look like it's painful? Like, no thanks. Like, no thanks.
Okay, so your favorite pool hall, that's Sticks and Stones?
Yes, yep.
And you spell them STIX or STYX?
So it's STIXX, so 2 X's at the end, and then and Stones is just and Stones.
Tell me your best pool story.
Oh man, that's a good question. That is a good question. Let's see. One of my best pool stories would probably have to be, I was at Ho Chunk Casino in Wisconsin, and I showed up. I was in college at the time. This was my first tournament having been at college. So my first pro event since I went to school with Mark. Mark Wilson was the coach of Lindenwood. And I was like, I had no expectations because we had been training and working on different things, kind of changing things up a bit. And I was like, no expectations, just see what you can do, right? And I get there and my dad's there. Peach Hour came to support me because Peach Hour is centralized in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I'm like, that's awesome that I have these two guys. Like, that's great. I'm so happy. And then 2 friends from Minnesota walk in the door that I never would have anticipated being there in my life. Okay. And they have shirts on and they have Grinder security on the back, like on the front and on the back. And I was like, this can't be happening. Like, you did not get personalized shirts saying Grinder security, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely we did. I'm like, well, you're not staying here the whole time, obviously. And they're like, yeah, we are. And I'm like, okay. So I had all that support. In that tournament, I played out of my mind. I was so happy with how I played. I played Drew Jeanette Lee first and ended up sneaking out a win. I think it was Hill. She had me down like 7-5, 7-4, or something like that. And then I also played Siming Chen that week. And at the time, she was ranked #1 in the world. And in my mind, I was like, there's no way. Like, there's just no way I get through this match. And so that's kind of the mentality I had, which was, I don't really care because the pressure's not on me here.
Right.
And I ended up winning 7-5 or 8-6 or something like that. I can't remember the race, but yeah, it was an incredible week to say the least. It was probably my favorite tournament.
And you had your own security team.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, they're not gonna allow me back. This is why I can't have nice things.
Let's see. What did you go to college for?
I went for finance.
Okay.
So, yep, I'll be getting a bachelor in finance.
All right. And okay, is that what your dream job would be, is to work in finance, or is your dream job to be a professional pool player?
Yeah, I know I'm kind of crazy for saying I want to try to make it in pool, but I do. I mean, I would prefer to live life like frugally, I guess you can say, like just get by, like have a place. You know what I mean? Like that's really all I'm worried about. Is just like I just would love a place and love to do what I love to do my whole life. You know, if I can't live an extravagant life doing what I love, that's fine because I'm doing what I love. So I'm not even home for more than half the year. So why would I need an extravagant home, or, you know, like I just need somewhere to put my stuff. And yeah, I mean, I have the support to do it. I have the right people on my side, I think, to do it. And I have the determination and want to do it. So
You have the drive.
yeah. I lost it for a while, but I have it back in more than ever. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, you can see that spark in your eye,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just truly love the game. Um, have you been to Europe yet?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right.
Many times.
Where have you played out there?
I've played in Austria, Italy. I've played in Russia. Trying to think where else I've played. I know there are others. London. If I was staring at a map, this might be a little bit easier. But yeah, I've been to all of those places, as well as over in China. I've been to China like three times. Taiwan, South Africa, ton of different places.
Of all the places you played in the UK and surrounding, which one was your favorite?
Oh, Austria was beautiful. Austria was beautiful, but Germany was pretty cool in the sense that we went in the winter time, like December, and we were in like the middle of a snowstorm, and we were staying at the top of a mountain on like a ski resort.
Right.
When I tell you the view was just, I mean, when we went up there, we drove past like all these houses that reminded me of like gingerbread houses. Like it was a literal village we went through to get to the top of the mountain. And I was like, I was 12, mind you. So I'm sitting here like, this is Candyland? Like, are we sure we're in Germany? Because this is not real life. So yeah, I would have to say either Austria or Germany, because they're pretty much the same thing, just different countries. So
Yeah, I want to go to Austria.
yeah.
Something about that place is just very attractive and very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're gonna be leaving what, Tuesday to head back to Louisville, Texas?
Yep. I am going to be taking my time to get back because it is quite a long drive. So meeting some people on the way back, and then hoping to get back for Thanksgiving on Thursday. And then yeah, I mean, I then take off for London the next week. So everything's happening so fast.
The Moscone is in Belgium?
It's in London.
Oh, okay, all
Yep.
right. I was misinformed. Somebody told me they thought it was gonna be in Belgium. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think it may not be in like London specifically. I'm fairly certain it's in London because it's at Alexandria Palace, wherever that is.
Okay,
So
all right,
yeah,
that's cool. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope you do great. And
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
yeah. Well, this has definitely been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Anyhow, thank you, April. If people want to find you or anything, where do they go to find you?
So I'm on Facebook. If you just type my name in, April Larson, Larson, I should pop up. I have a page and a personal page. My personal page is at 5,000 at the current moment, and it like varies. So sometimes I'll have 5 spots available or something, but otherwise, my Facebook page, I rarely post on that. I need to start doing that more, but I'm so used to posting on my personal page that, and most of the people I know are on my personal page. So it's typically where I post. And otherwise, I'm on Instagram under the grinder. And I'm not on Twitter or like really anything else. So those are probably the best ways to reach me.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, thank you. And
You.
I wish you great luck in the Moscone. That is just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I can't believe it actually happened. Thank you.
It's awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you, April.
Thank you.